We've got really 5 signature events at the festival. The first one being the kickoff party. It's going to be held at Billy Bob's, Texas.
It's just a great event. It gets a lot of like-minded people together to support something that's growing in our town.
You're going to have 12 chefs from Fort Worth, 3 craft breweries, 3 liquors, and then 3 wines at that event.
The idea for the Fort Worth Food and Wine Festival came from restaurant owners who've attended the Buffalo Gap Food and Wine Summit.
Half the chefs at the Buffalo Gap Food and Wine Festival are either from Fort Worth or Fort Worth, Dallas. If it's working in Buffalo Gap, Texas, why don't we have something in Fort Worth really to highlight our culinary scene here?
Buffalo Gap's a town in central Texas with a population of less than 500. Riata owner Mike McAuliffe says after the kickoff party at Billy Bob's on March 27th, Rahr & Sons, Firestone, and Martin House will participate in a tasting event at the Renaissance Worthington Hotel with more than 100 breweries, distilleries, and wineries the following night. On day 3, the festival moves to Bass Hall.
Stephen Pyle's going to come over from Dallas. He's going to team up with John Bonnell, and they're going to basically knock your socks off with an incredible meal and then really a reserve tasting of wines, and all that on the stage at Bass Hall. And you're going to have the ballet and also the opera going on around you.
Tickets for that event will cost $500, but the festival does include cheaper events like a food truck festival at Coyote Drive-In.
That event's going to benefit Meals on Wheels, but we're also going to have some chuck wagons. Because the way we look at it, chuck wagons were the original food truck.
We have such a rich culture here, and food and wine and drink and beer, and is a part of that culture that's really growing, leaps and bounds right now. It's on a pretty fast track.
Marcus Pasley owns the Clay Pigeon on White Settlement Road.
We're close to some neighborhoods that make us more of a local spot, kind of a neighborhood restaurant.
He says the festival will help local restaurants increase their profile, even while they compete with each other.
I've been all over the country the past 10 or 12 years cooking and learning as much as possible, but the dream was always to come back to Fort Worth and open a restaurant here.
Because, when a convention comes in town, if somebody's going to dine at Riata, that's great, but we don't expect them to come to Riata 3 times in a row. It's not about Riata Restaurant, or it's not about Grace. It's really about promoting all of Fort Worth, all the great things that Fort Worth has to offer.
KLIF helped found the festival. He researched similar events in Los Angeles, Aspen, and New Orleans. He expects the festival to launch with a primarily local crowd.
Core philosophy behind the festival is really to help promote the Fort Worth food scene and really giving back.
McAuliffe says proceeds may go toward infrastructure improvements or a scholarship fund for culinary students in the Fort Worth School District.
How they pay the Fort Worth Food and Wine Foundation back is they've got to come back to Fort Worth and work in a restaurant and do a great job.
The festival runs from March 27th through the 30th, but tickets have just gone on sale. You can find more information about the individual events and prices at fortworthfoodandwinefestival.com. In Fort Worth, Alan Scaia, 24/7 News.